Fine. So we'll
Okay.
start the session. Handing over to Dr. Abhishek.
Thank you, Dr. Kunal. Uh, Welcome, Rahul, to our program, and welcome to all the participants to the last session of this program. Uh, we are very delighted to have Mr. Rahul Chatterjee here with us. It is my pleasure to introduce him. Mr. Chatterjee is the co-founder and director of Kriya Foods and Beverages Private Limited. He is a PhD scholar in biotechnology and also a biotechnology ignition grant fellow. He advises to create safer, healthier foods for masses using science, technology, and biotechnological interventions. So with this short introduction, I would now invite Mr. Chatterjee for his talk. Mr. Chatterjee.
Thank you so much. I think, firstly, I'd like to thank Dr. Kunal because he's been very prompt, in getting us on board to help out the students to understand um, what and how are the different facets of entrepreneurship. I, being a student myself, I think I can relate to them much more, and I'm sure they'll be able to understand that that being a student you can start a journey of entrepreneurship. Being a student you can still continue doing your academics and then going on and getting an enterprise for yourself. So firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Rahul, and although I am from West Bengal, my company is housed here in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. So, uh, like uh, like every normal Bengali middle class household, we tend to be little academic in our profession and in our thoughts. That even though our lives are all, we have different ambitions. Like somebody wants to play cricket, somebody wants to be a singer, somebody wants something different. But I think all of us are pulled towards this spectrum of getting into education and this. But being a Bengali myself, I can tell you that the encouragement towards entrepreneurship is not too high, and specifically it's towards higher studies, and then you should go ahead and do your PhD and then teach and then help out students. So that's the culture that goes. But I think being little different from the normal path is challenging, but I think it's exciting also. So with that, I'll not have any PPT per se, because I don't believe that a presentation is the right way to share a journey. So I'll just share you my story as to how things happen, what I believe, and what can be done. What are the different avenues that I have explored, and where we are at this moment and what can be done. So just to begin with, my schooling is from Calcutta, and came out of a very Catholic school, and discipline was very primary in a Catholic school, where you have fathers and printers who are really very tough on you. And so I think discipline came from schooling and also from upbringing, and to understand how life works. The major thing that we were told in school, I think, was science and maths and education are just information. They are just information, and they can be found in books. And right now with digitalization, I think I am connected here to a different part of India, sitting just at my office. So right now everything's available on the internet very easily. So I think science maths is just that, but I think education is primarily to teach us how to think and how to process and how to understand as to what we want to do in life. So primarily it started off with that. And when I was in school, I actually wanted to be a cricketer. I was playing mid-level cricket for my state, and class 9, class 10, really, just like all the other people, really enthusiastic to be a cricketer. But then again, you get into that those games of life where you go into an academic, you have class 10 examinations coming up, and then suddenly you realize that you have to stop fooling around and start doing something really specific. Although right now cricket is something that is really is a very good career option. Nonetheless, when I passed out of school, there was this. All of us has this huge, confusion as to whether we want to take science or commerce. I actually like both. I like science as well as commerce, but I used to hate maths. I still hate maths, and I think there's somebody saying that there's no clarity in the audio. Can you just validate that?
Yeah, Rahul, if you can, use mic, then it may be better.
Okay.
Uh, is it better right now?
Yes,
Much
perfectly better. Yeah.
Okay, so sure. So, so right out of school, when we started to look at what to do next in our academic careers, we were looking at. I actually really like biology, and the most fascinating thing is when we look at biology, biology as a subject here in India is mostly academic. It's informative, it's research oriented, but nobody ever thought of biotechnology as a career option. I mean, even in the mid 90s or even in the 2000s, I mean, it was very rare. But somehow my affinity towards biotechnology pulled me towards that subject, and I came to Bhubaneswar itself to do my masters in biotech. It was an integrated program, and it was a 5 years integrated program where we studied all the aspects of biotech. Now, the most fascinating thing is during this journey of studying academics, we learn to understand how to use our books for applications, and that's what I think the orientation is very important to understand whether how to use our knowledge that is there into an application, or maybe a product, maybe a service, maybe any kind of an application where we use a particular community for generating that application. Nonetheless, doing that is much more important, and that's what orientation was being promoted. When I was in my third year of education, um, we actually wrote a program. I think it's now a very big program. It's from able, which is run by Department of Biotechnology, and there you have to submit an application for different kinds of it's actually an innovation challenge where you submit an application which what you want to do, and if you have an innovative idea, and then you can take it forward, and they will mentor you and then guide you, and then you can make that into a product. So we got selected as a team. Just as a team, we made 5 people. I think some of my friends, we were together and we made that team along with a mentor from college. We graduated there, and we were among the top 20 teams in the entire country. I think that program for 5 days that happened changed my life upside down. I think before that, I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I didn't know that these kind of things could happen. I didn't know how business statements were made. I didn't know how problem statements were made. We knew we didn't. I didn't know how to assess a problem. So it really changed my mind, and I really thought that science can be used for serving different purposes. So I developed a life goal, and I think I'll share that with you. I think you can relate. So I look at this entire thing that we do in our daily day, or even entrepreneurship, as a pyramid. Okay, so this pyramid, if you know that pyramid has 3 sides, right? So the top of the pyramid is basically the science, okay, or science or commerce or anything you say, any kind of technology. That is the top of the pyramid, and the both the sides of the pyramid are basically nothing but business and community. Yes, I think there's somebody who's writing that there would be a presentation related to a startup. Yes, I will come to that. I'll come to that. So I just want to just give you an overview first. I'll come to that. So so you see that when we look at science, business and community together, the main thing is to link them together. So that's where the journey for the enterprise started. And you will be happy to know, and you will be very amazed that a journey actually needs founders. You need co-founders, right? So if you need co-founders, you need people who will be able to share the same vision with you. So as a founder, I looked at co-founders in my faculties or in my professors. So the company that I formed, basically the name of the company is Kriya Foods and Beverages Private Limited. So the main goal of the company is to make safe and healthy foods. Okay, so what we really do is we try to remove all kinds of synthesizers from food. As you know that food has a lot of harmful chemicals and toxins, right? So we try to remove all the different kinds of synthesizers and chemicals from food, make it even very very a process which which makes it much more safer to consume. We are not aware of many kinds of toxins that are present in food. So and the community actually does not know, the society does not know about how to even properly handle that food. So the main goal of the company was to make safer foods and to make healthy eating, so that is the actual objective. So how we connected science, business and community, I'll actually come to that. So so somebody's asking me for a presentation, so I think Dr. Kunal, can I share any PPT from here?
Yes, yes. There is an option at the bottom or
Okay,
at the
yes.
side. Yes.
Okay, so just let me open my PPT. I think since they want a PPT, I'll just try to have a PPT in place. Okay. So actually, see, I don't want to make this a company presentation kind of a thing. I want you to understand how and what you can do with your ideas, with your professors, and what are the avenues that as a student you can look at. So, so what I'll do is I'll just share this right now. Wait, I think. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, yes. It is visible.
Okay, so all right. So of course, I will not be able to see the chat room. So if there's any questions, then you can ask right away, or we'll take questions at the end also. Okay.
Yeah, that will be the strategy. So we will take the questions at the end, and whenever participants will have questions, they will just type it down at that moment or at the end.
Okay, but I think I will not be able to see it. So if you can communicate
Yeah,
that to me, it will be okay.
definitely.
Okay. All right. So basically, the company basically is out of Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and we started off from a laboratory. Okay, so like every research idea or any innovation you see that's coming out, it always starts small. And the main idea was to make those products at a laboratory scale, and after we make everything at a lab scale, assess what the community behavior is against those products and whether they are liking those products or not, and then we go up for a further round of funding. So basically if you see that there are 4 different objectives of the company. We look at basically making innovative food, and we fortify food. We use different kinds of flour systems. Like you will know that you have something called refined flour. Now refined flour or maida, now everybody says that consuming maida is not good for health, but do you know why consuming maida is not good for health? Majorly because you're refining all of the nutrients out of the process. So like a wheat has the grain has a kernel and has a wall also. So when you start refining the wheat or the grain, it automatically removes all the different kinds of vitamins and minerals and nutrients, but making it much more tastier. So you see, anything that is made out of the whole grain is lesser in taste but is more nutritious. So what we try to do is, one of the main portfolios that we actually do is we try to use different kinds of flour which is low in glycemic index. So low in glycemic index means it does not increase in spiking your blood sugar. So different kinds of flours, you see multigrain flours like oats, barley, ragi, millets. But one of our main components that we are using is, of course, millets. Because why I'll tell you is because, you see, place where we are, you see Odisha or wherever you are, you should always look at sourcing your material from where you are situated. And the abundance of that material actually brings out the economics of your process. So if you are supposed to get some kind of source material from very far, then that source material will actually cost you logistics, and considering the fossil fuel prices that are going, it's going to add to your cost. So if you have any kind of local resources or local ingredients, then using that, or if it's not tapped, using that, I think, is the best option that you should do. So we did just that. We saw that, finger millets is one of the most abundantly grown crop in the eastern part of India. I think Odisha is home to a lot of millets, and millets do not have any final product. So what we try to do is we try to make different kinds of food products. Now our main goal was to make bakery and confectionery products out of these polyflower based approaches. Now we started millets and we started fortifying. By fortifying, we mean that we include different types of vitamins, minerals, micronutrients which the societies divide off. Like, for example, you see vitamin A, iodine, vitamin D, and A, D, E, and K. All of these, they are majorly and the micronutrients, they are much divided in our daily food plan. So incorporating that right now is a very important job that we need to do. So right now you will see that the Food Safety Authority of India, or the FSSAI, they are coming up with this concept called Plus F. If you notice, different kinds of packs which are available in the market, they are Plus F. The Plus F packs are actually fortified packs. They are fortified with vitamins and micronutrients. So the second main thing that the company actually does is we synthesize enzymes. Now, like I'll tell you, we synthesize enzymes which make food processes much more safer. Now, I'll just bring to your notice a small story where I think all of us like to have our fried food. I think junk food, like potato chips, like French fries and burgers, and you name it. Everything that's there in the market which is fried, it's extremely delicious, and it's quick to have. But there is a catch. Something that comes quick comes with some catch. So food that is quickly burnt or quickly made results in having a lot of toxins. The process that gets these toxin into the food is through a process called Maillard reaction. Now what happens is, if there are different micronutrients in food, if you see proteins, you see sugars, you see carbohydrates, if you see fats, now they interact together. Once they interact together, it results in different flavors and texture and odor. But during that process, a necessary evil or different cancer causing chemicals are produced. So we are developing different enzyme systems which are supposed to be added into those processing systems to make these foods devoid of those cancer causing chemicals. Now, this is of course where we use biotechnology and how we use biotech to have different kind of solution. Now, the third is to alleviate malnutrition. Like you see, that you see, every kind of food that is there in the market right now, they are full of calories, but they don't have any kind of nutrition dense approach. So the concept that we are always fed with in our society and culture is that, you know, you have to eat a lot, but that's not actually true. You can eat lesser and you can have more nutrients if you eat the right thing. So that's where the science comes in. That's where the pyramid, where you have science, actually comes in, and a lot of R&D goes into developing those kinds of different formulations where you make nutrition dense foods that have longer shelf life, and food that can be used for various kinds of things, like for disaster management, like you know that India is now prone to a lot of disasters, especially the eastern coast, Odisha. Last year we faced a very bad cyclone called Fani, and the entire coast was ravaged. And so these foods that time are really these high shelf life food, these dry products which are low in moisture, are really the call of the hour. So that time we did a really good job in, you know, helping out people, like to, you know, send those foods to different types of places which are nutrition dense and of course also healthy in consumption. So this happens from the science aspect of the pyramid. Now we look at how the science, business, and community is linked. So where does community come? So science is used to make some kind of product, right? So we use some science or some technology to make some product or some service. Now, how do we link that to community? So we are actually home to our factory, and our collaborations is home to 30,000 tribal children. So we are home to the founder of KISS is Dr. Achut Samanta, who happens to be the founder of KIIT too. And he has made this KISS school where all the tribal children, they study there for free, right from their lower education to their highest form of education. And it's a university in itself, and it is also it is home to you know, the largest mega kitchen in the country. So there's 30,000 tribal children studying there from different poor of, you know, poorest of the poor household. They come there and then they are fed, they're given education. So we are in collaboration with them, and what we do is these we feed our produce to these tribal children firstly. So all these nutrition dense that goes to these products, goes to these students daily, and they are fed in different kinds of snack as a snack item, and on in the different times of the day. Started for quite some time. Ever since the company came into effect, we started doing it, and that's how we are, of course, giving our products to them. Secondly, we've started this innovation project called Kalinga Khadya Siksha. Now this project actually empowers tribal children, and to learn a process, or to learn this entire cycle of how an industry works, right from the store to the production, to the inventory, to the marketing, to the management. So a group of these students who are in their final years of their education, were in class 12 and they're just passing out, they are vocationally trained. So we name this program as an edupowerment, education empowerment. So we teach them the science so that they become edu powered, and they can take this innovation down to the rural and most deeper levels of our country. So grassroots level innovation development, and taking those innovation forward to different types of places all across the country is done through these students. And so we believe that we are a tribal brand, and we promote tribal education, and these tribal children and students, girls and boys, they're all part of our entire ecosystem to build this brand overall. So as you see, I mean, the core vision is actually to make much more food safer and healthier. And this is our corporate proposition, of course. So the team, of course, I'll come to the photographs later. I have a different presentation where I'll show you the photographs of the team and the photographs of what we're doing. So of course, Dr. Vishakha, she happens to be, oh, by the way, I am also a PhD scholar, and I'm doing my PhD in food biotechnology also. And Dr. Vishakha happens to be my PI, so my principal investigator too. So my PI is now my team member and a partner. So the most beautiful part of it is you receive mentoring as well as you receive a handholding from people who've taught you, and you build an ecosystem right from there. And it's an amazing feeling when I really do that. And day in and day out, people ask me, that what do you think is motivates you, talking to people and who are in the academic profession, because their thinking is different from a corporate person. An academic person thinks completely different. He thinks about research, he or she thinks about different kinds of academic propositions. But I think that's the beauty, where academic people can also form an enterprise. So of course, where we are, so we have a factory right in the middle of Bhubaneswar. It's almost around 8,000 to 9,000 square feet. And we've been really funded by different kind of agencies. So right from the time when the laboratory started, every innovation requires, or every project or every company requires a lot of funding to build products, to build hypotheses. So right now, the best part of the Indian ecosystem is that there's a lot of funds available. Trust me, more emails than spam emails come from funding agencies and the government, who are ready to fund your project and who are ready to give you money to develop different kinds of products and technologies, right from grant challenges, right from innovation programs, right from accelerator programs. There are a lot of incubators all across the country. Just like we are housed at KIT, so we have a KIT TBI incubator here. I'm sure all of you might be aware about different incubators that are there all across the country, including IITs, IIMs, and all different engineering institutes that are there. And these incubators actually help you to handhold startups if they don't have knowledge regarding where to get funding from, how to get legal guidance, how to develop corporate governance, all of that together. So we received our first funding through MSME, that is micro and medium small enterprises. As a single innovator, we started to get money to develop these small products and prototypes. And then slowly and steadily we made the laboratory. And then, of course, the laboratory was just for understanding what kind of market is there for this kind of innovation in food. Subsequently, once we did our assessment of what is there in the market and what the market demands, we go ahead to raise funding for a large scale unit or a large scale factory. That's when angel investors come in. That's where venture capitalists come in. That's where government funds, which are seed funds, or they come in. So we raised almost around 3.5 to 4 CR as an angel fund, and from different types of government bodies, including DBT and DST, seed funds from DBT, NSTDB, seed funds from DST, and formulated the factory, the design. And then, of course, your banking institutions will, of course, help you to set up this unit. Now, every company needs partners, so every company so we strongly believe that nothing can be done alone, and partnership and collaborations are most important. And like I said, that KISS happens to be one of our social partners. I don't know whether you're aware of National Innovation Foundation and NABARD. These two are really big organizations that promote innovation at the grassroots level. So you have a lot of innovations coming out at the grassroots level, who generate these innovations there at that level, but their innovation doesn't get commercialized. So in order to handhold them and incorporate your innovations with them. Those partnership and collaborations are much important. That's where NIF and National Innovation Foundation and NABARD has come in to picture. Currently, I think we are a B2B brand. So we are a B2B and a B2G brand. So B2B is business to business, and B2G is business to government. So what we do is we supply to different, of course, universities. We supply to colleges. We supply to our products to universities, residential schools, hospitals, different kinds of nursing homes, therapeutic kitchen, and other places where people are aware of these kind of products that are required in the market. So people who want to eat healthy, slowly and steadily the trend is rising, and that's where people who are aware of these kind of products slowly and steadily trying to consume it. So even corporate giants like Infosys, corporate giants like TCS, we have the SEZ here, the Special Economic Zone, where we supply our products. So I just come to what we just brush over to what we are, what innovations we are doing. So like I mentioned, we are of course doing flour fortification, low GI products. We are of course making biofortification, and then the enzymes, and then the applications for different schools and nutrition dense meals, making small crackers and flakes and cookies and different buns, which are completely millet based. So we have completely removed the portfolio of wheat, and all of our products are multi-grain, multi-composite in approach. And they are made in a process where you do not add any kind of additive and chemicals in the process. Like for example, I'd like to mention that I think in 2014 or 2015 there was a huge uproar regarding potassium bromate and potassium iodate being a very harmful chemical. The entire country was raging that breads are not not nutritious for consumption, they're harmful and they're not safe. So we try to ascertain this position where you create those products that are much safer and much healthier, although not changing what people actually require, but giving them much more safer alternatives. And that's where that comes in. So like I said that you see, again going back to that pyramid where we talk about science and community is of course linked, but science and community will not fetch any kind of economic stability for a company that needs to also give proper products to its consumers. So business is also a must. And business, getting into a business, the most important thing of getting into a business is to serve the right product to the right person. And we believe that as a brand, to create a brand, it is first most important to let people know that that brand is there in the market. So B2B or business to business generates an awareness in the market. Like for example, I'll tell you, if you work at a particular corporate setting and then you're there, then somebody is consuming your products directly given to that particular business entity. If the people who are supplying those products now have a retail outlet or have a retail base, then that relatability, so people now find those products out of their offices into the retail market. So creating a B2B brand, and after B2B going into B2C is something that we've been trying to target. So going into the next aspect is the differentiators, of course.
That presence of
Okay, so I want you to see this video. So right now we've talked about different kinds of applications of polyflower based approach. I want you to see this video where we talk about how foods are, consuming different types of foods are a little harmful, and what we are doing to remove this kind of a toxin. So the enzyme based application that is there, I want you to see this video and judge for yourself.
Did you know that presence of a food toxin, acrylamide, in our daily diet is a growing health concern globally? Strict norms have been laid down by the food regulatory bodies like FDA and EFSA to reduce the acrylamide content in the product. What is acrylamide? Acrylamide is a WHO recognized class 2A carcinogenic compound which is synthesized during cooking at high temperatures while frying, grilling, baking, toasting, and roasting. The lack of awareness amongst consumers and their regular consumption of these hazardous processed products like biscuit, coffee, cereal, bread leads to these serious health diseases in all age groups, but significantly affecting infants. So, what is the solution? Acrylate is a one-stop, award-winning, cost-effective solution capable of reducing acrylamide formation in food by up to 95%. So how does this work? Adding acrylate to the food production process converts the amino acid asparagine even before the heating process takes place. So, no acrylamide can be formed in the final product. Acrylate can be used over a wide range of products. No significant changes need to be made to your recipe or production process. Taste, appearance, and texture of the final product stay unaffected, and acrylate does not require labeling. Pilot scale trials using acrylate and its variants are being conducted at Kriya Foods manufacturing facility. We at Kriya make food safer and help you choose the right bite.
Okay, so was that video audible?
There was a little issue in audio. So
Okay, so do you want me to play it again?
if you can increase the volume from that side, then
Okay, okay, I have increased the volume. Okay, I have actually increased the volume, but can you see, can you hear it now?
no.
Okay, no, I've not started the video, so maybe after maybe I'll play it again so that everyone can see it once more, and then maybe take feedback again. Okay.
Did you know that presence of a food toxin, acrylamide, in our daily diet is a growing health concern globally? Strict norms have been laid down by the food regulatory bodies like FDA and EFSA to reduce the acrylamide content in the product. What is acrylamide? Acrylamide is a WHO recognized class 2A carcinogenic compound which is synthesized during cooking at high temperatures while frying, grilling, baking, toasting, and roasting. The lack of awareness amongst consumers and their regular consumption of these hazardous processed products like biscuit, coffee, cereal, bread leads to these serious health diseases in all age groups, but significantly affecting infants. So, what is the solution? Acrylate is a one-stop, award-winning, cost-effective solution capable of reducing acrylamide formation in food by up to 95%. So how does this work? Adding acrylate to the food production process converts the amino acid asparagine even before the heating process takes place. So, no acrylamide can be formed in the final product. Acrylate can be used over a wide range of products. No significant changes need to be made to your recipe or production process. Taste, appearance, and texture of the final product stay unaffected, and acrylate does not require labeling. Pilot scale trials using acrylate and its variants are being conducted at Kriya Foods manufacturing facility. We at Kriya make food safer and help you choose the right bite.
Okay, so was it better this time?
Yes, it was.
Okay, great, good. So I think you might have understood. I think the video was self-explanatory, and you might have understood that what are the different toxins that are there. I mean, we all know. I don't know whether all of us are aware, but if you are not, then let me tell you, acrylamide is a very, very potent carcinogen, and we in our laboratories use acrylamide to run protein gels, and we normally don't use acrylamide with normal hands. That's of course first, and secondly, acrylamide, these acrylic paints that are there in our daily household, which we normally use to paint these walls, these acrylic paints actually form acrylamide, and then they are washed off into the streams, and they cause a lot of pollution, a lot of different deaths. So it's found in foods, and you will be surprised to know that this particular toxin is found in foods over 300 times than that in water. It is regulated in water by a particular permissible limit, but it's found in foods at a very, very high percentage. So there are different kinds of toxins also there in our different processes, but we're not aware about it. So, solving these kinds of problems is, of course, what we do, and what we are motivated to look at in the future also. So I'll move on to the next one. Okay, so I think I've been able to tell this to you. So what is the problem statement and how it is formed? So it's there. This acrylamide is there everywhere. It's, you name it, cornflakes, pizzas, French fries, you name it. It's everywhere. It's just everywhere. And if you see that potato products, they have almost 12,400 ppb, which is a huge number. And the regulation is actually for 100 ppb, but in potato products it's at 12,400 ppb, and it causes a lot of damage. It causes DNA damage, it causes baby weight circumference lessening of that, and it's actually a neurotoxin too. So consumption of this is really harmful. So of course, what we have done, we've produced different variants, and these variants are now actually nobody in the market has in India. I think we are in that stage where we are going to use these different variants for different applications. So we use it in our bakery products. We use it. We are in pilot trials to use it in the bakery items for food manufacturing in terms of potato-based products with flour, and as well as different flours. So mixing it together with these flours will actually help not produce that toxin. So of course, this is how we look at from the science perspective. And one of the major community-based applications that we are doing is, incorporating it with the state nutrition program. So whatever products we produce in terms of millet bars, millet cookies, they're all going into the state nutrition program and the public distribution systems. We are in touch with different kind of midday meal schemes where we are trying to incorporate these products at a household level, and so that people going in schools and these school children, they can consume this as a part of the midday meal scheme. So the bigger thing is creating a cycle. So you see, whenever an innovation is there, or whenever a company is there, the main thing is to connect their entire cycle together. So right from the place where the grains are produced to how it is shipped to your factory, from the factory how your products go into the market, and this is an entire supply chain. So how an innovation goes into this supply chain, or who is part of this supply chain, is very important. And so the social responsibility actually comes into from this aspect where we see that we're looking at this tribal empowerment program, where at the grassroots level they are empowered to generate those crops. They are empowered to pack those different flowers in a composite way, and then sending it right across to the factories, and then they are the ones who are again taking those products out into the market. So it's like an entire supply chain, and that's where you have those community development programs together along with the social enterprise. So I think we've covered mostly all of this, and we'll come to photographs later. So I'll stop sharing this. So what I think you've got an overview of what the company is doing, and what it's targeted to be. So I'll quickly come to where we are at this moment, and what is the place where we are standing as a company, and what is our next goal of approach. So we currently as a company, the company was formed in the year 2015. So from the year 2015 to the year 2017, we did our lab trials and going into developing all of those, this entire portfolio of products, going into R&D of that. Post that, then pitching for the factory, designing the factory, getting it together, took us around 2 years to set that entire thing in place. So but the factory started in August 2017. Currently it's been around almost 2.5 years, 2.5 years into operations. We feed almost around 2 lakh people per day as a captive market, and we almost have a turnover of around 3 crores per year. So right, we started off from a lab. We started off from nothing but an idea, a vision, where our ideas were to make foods much more safer. And actually, let me also bring you back to another thing. Like when I was in college, my final year of education. I think many of you are students and might be in your final or pre-final year of education. During my pre-final year of education, this story actually pans out from there. We here during my masters, we developed this program where I used to work with waste cooking oil. Okay, so waste cooking oil is nothing but oil being thrown down the drain after cooking. So this oil actually has a lot of different chemicals and toxins. Food is continuously used and continuously abused in that oil, and different kind of toxins actually percolate into the food. So we started this pilot scale project, the optimization of converting that waste cooking oil into biodiesel. And we have a pilot scale factory at our institute here, and it's created by us. That's how it started, where we used to go and check food, where we used to go and check the oil, and the different problems of food, the different problems of oil, where slowly and steadily starting to come out. We made this entire pilot scale unit to collect this entire oil from across the university. We used to almost get around 10,000 to 20,000 liters, roughly average, from the entire university. And getting that oil from all across the place, coming in and processing it and sending it off to KISS, where 30,000 tribal children, their food used to be cooked, and they used to all be cooked through steam. So biodiesel there used to be used as a fuel to generate steam, and that steam used to cook that entire food. And that's where this journey actually started. We understood that food has a lot of problems, and people are not aware about it. So how can these different problems be made into a waste to wealth approach? How can we individually try to, as a researcher or as an innovator, try to find different kinds of applications where we use this and directly make it into a live model? So your thesis or your master's program, your final thesis, which is there of your education during your master's program, is actually now a reality. It's right in front of you, giving you a real life model, and it's also generating economics. It's serving a purpose, and that's really I think that's been one of the most motivating factors, that how it started. And then the company of course comes in, and right now it's somewhere else. So I think being honest with what we want to do is very important. There'll be lot of options, there'll be lot of resources. People will of course not give you any recognition initially, and not try to try to bog you down and say, oh no, this is not going to work, and this is rubbish. ये academic के लिए ही ठीक है, ये आप academic ही करिए, lab में ही बनाइए. But then again, if people are saying that, then you're doing the right thing, because if they are stopping you from doing something, that means you're really doing something progressive. I think all of us have seen that movie Guru, right? Where people say, where Abhishek Bachchan actually says that अगर लोग तुम्हारे बारे में बातें कर रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब है तुम जरूर कुछ सही कर रहे हो. So otherwise they will not talk about you. So if people are talking about you, then you're doing something right, and you should continue with that. And I think primarily the biggest advantage that we have had is the support from incubators and the support from government agencies. Trust me, I think all of us in India right now, I'm not politically biased. I'm not politically affiliated in any way. But me being, I have not even I don't even go to political lectures or listen to it. But it's in full honesty. We've seen a huge difference in the startup community in the last 5 to 7 years, and that's nothing but the truth. Me being a PhD scholar, I'm telling this to you because when I received the BIRAC grant, this BIG grant, it's nothing but it's 50 lakh rupees. They're giving you 50 lakh rupees to to make an innovation for nothing, and they're just looking at you, looking at your team, looking at your idea, looking at your hypothesis, and just putting it that on the table. 50 lakhs is a huge amount of money to generate a particular product or a service. And the kind of support that the government, the different government agencies, the local state, it's humongous, and I think it's very exciting times. And I just also want to share that we've just raised around 7.5 crores as capital from a foreign investment, and we are looking to take the company pan India, and the brand, the tribal brand, right down into urban and rural communities, as well as all across the country. And we're also trying to go Southeast Asia, where we think that the food patterns match. So Asian cultures have a similar food pattern. So we're trying. So everybody is now looking at gluten-free food, lactose-free food, refined flour, which is completely devoid. So it's the right time. It's the right time for people to be aware. And as students, as professionals, as academicians, I think it's our duty to go ahead and give the right message across to all of us. So I think with that, I think I'll open it for questions, and then maybe later on I'll come to the photographs to show you images, because of course I would have been happy to show you to you in person, but with COVID I think it's not possible. So I'll just show it to you in photographs, and I'm open for questions.
Thanks, Rahul. You made a very nice presentation of your work, of your startup. It was very eye-opening for me as well, I should say. I hope all our participants have enjoyed. List the participants to kindly ask their questions to Rahul in the chat box. So Rahul, I had a question. What is the how many staff you have, and how many places you have the production units at?
Okay, so thank you for that question, actually. So you see, right now we are working with almost around 55 people. We are not including those people who are part of our vocational training programs. The vocational training programs are again another 200 more. So almost roughly around 200 more, 4 batches of 50 each that we try to, in a rotation basis, we try to give them exposure of different departments. And working professionals is around 50-55 along with the team. And when we started the lab, we're just, I think, 5 people. And I think right now we are a huge family, and it's going to get bigger. I'm sure it's going to get much bigger with times to come. It's just been 2 years. It's just been 2.5 years that we're working.
I think you guys are working on a very nice and on a project which can be scaled up in a huge way.
Right. Yes.
So I wanted to ask if there are so many cancer cases which is coming in India.
Yeah.
Is it because of the food which we eat, on the processed food which we eat?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, see, what is cancer? Let's understand that first. So cancer is nothing but a particular cell going crazy. Okay. So one particular cell has to multiply into 1 or 2. today, like you see, हम दो हमारे दो, है ना? Concept यही है, हम दो हमारे दो. Now this cancer cell is हम दो हमारे 102. So that's the problem, and there are different factors that actually come into consideration. Food is a slow poison, and because it's part of our daily intake. Imagine the thing that you have that we have looked at as acrylamide. Think it's 45 to 50% of our daily intake of food. So slowly it's going to eat up, it's going to eat up out of our processes. And what is happening is, although the average life cycle of a person has increased, but we're leading a disease based life. So it's becoming a compromised life with medicine. It's becoming more with lifestyle disorders coming in, like obesity, like diabetes. These are all different types of problems that we are facing. But majorly, if you see food, water, roti, kapda or makan, usme roti and kapda sabse important hai. And you see, if you don't eat the right product, if you don't have the right air, or if you don't breathe the right thing, or if you don't drink the right thing, it's invasive, it's in your body, it's going to affect you much more than anything else. So many people say कि हम सांस ले रहे हैं लेकिन इसमें तो कोई pollutant नजर नहीं आ रहा है. So pollutant नजर नहीं आएगा, but शायद आपको तब नजर आएगा जब it will be too late, and at that time we'll be investing much more money on hospitals than taking smaller steps to having a much more better lifestyle at this moment. So I've got a question, a very interesting question from Vaibhav. Why you choose Odisha? Why not Kolkata? Okay, so Vaibhav, I'm asking the question to myself too. why Odisha? Why not Kolkata? Is because Kolkata happens to be my hometown. We are of course going to do in Kolkata very soon, and I am of course. By the way, my background is I come from a very middle class Bengali family, and my father is of course a businessman, but he's into a very different profession. So I दूर दूर तक मुझे academics का नाता या फिर godfather तो है नहीं. तो the process is slow, but it will happen. And Calcutta is a good place because it is of course a port city. Odisha also has a port, Paradeep has a port. So if you want to export, and if we have to send it to different parts of India also, it's easy. It's easy for us to go take it from there. And but I'll tell you, I think you guys are from the west, and we are from the east. तो ईस्ट के लोग थोड़ा सा क्या है ना, उनका जो वर्क स्केड्यूल है ना, it starts from 10 o'clock in the morning, it goes to 12:30, and then after 12:30 it again starts at 6 o'clock in the evening. Afternoon का time out है, कोई available ही नहीं होता है काम करने के लिए. So that culture is but changing, and that culture is changing, and I think east is little slow, but जहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है वहाँ हो सकता है. And I think that is what matters. Where nothing is there is where something can be, and we're sure we'll build east first. We'll build east and northeast, and then of course I think we'll come to Jaipur, and we'll take Dr. Kunal's help, and do something there in Jaipur.
Definitely.
We have another question. The question is, how much is the contribution of your higher education to your startup? Does it matter if you are if you have just done masters or?
Okay, so I think to be honest, see, I'm telling you, education is just to give you an insight. So it's just to give you an insight. Degrees don't matter. See, I'm doing my PhD for a very different reason. If I tell you the reason why I'm doing my PhD, you'll be like, "Kyun kar rahe ho?" So because why do you need to do a PhD? You're already doing a startup, and you have you have a team. You're trying to build things. You're trying to build a food technology lab. You have a testing facility. What's the problem? Why do you need to do a PhD? ज़रूरत है कहीं ना कहीं. I have understood this. And I think this is a fact. This for fact that this culture is there in our country. Today, if I as a master student go and pitch in front of a panel of investors who are from the research profession or from a government body to say, that I need this fund to do this, there's a little skepticism. थोड़ा सा है. मतलब वो है कि will he be able to do it? Does he have the educational qualification to do it? Rather, it might not matter. It might not matter. Maybe as a master student or as a PhD student, I might say the same thing. I might say something better if I'm a master student, because PhD karne mein to hal kharab hota hai. So again, it's too much of studying and too much of focus. So, but in all honesty, I think it doesn't matter whether what education you receive. It's important to have the right education. Should give you the right insight, should give you the right opinion, should give you the right mindset, should give you the right approach. And I think that is more important. It's very easy to say all of these things, but it मतलब करने के लिए difficult है, बोलना बहुत आसान है. But in reality, I think if we look at ourselves, I ask myself this question, to be honest. I ask myself this question: when I'm old and when I'm on my deathbed, have I done something to touch people's lives? तो क्या मैंने किसी की जिंदगी में direct affect किया? पैसा कमाना, earning money, I think all of those are all collaterals. They will all fall in place, because I think all of us have the capability to earn money. Anybody who's I always keep saying this, that people earning money is just for your necessity. And when I was in Japan for quite some time. I'd gone there for a research program. I learned that how minimalistic life can be. Simplicity. घर में आपको 100 चीजें होने की जरूरत नहीं है. You don't need too much of things. You just need the things that are important, and I think that solves it. If you have those important things, it's important for you to take care of those important things, and that's where it matters. I think education ठीक है, it's good, but I think हो सकता है अगर आप नहीं भी है तो you can definitely scale much higher than anything else. So, yeah.
Thank you for your answer. We have another question from Ms. Dr. Tala. He's asking, how do you select your team?
How do I select my team? Okay. See, for me it happened. Very very interesting for me how it happened. The Dr. Vishakha, who happens to be one of the director of the company, she happens to be one of my main faculties during my master's program. So I used to look up to her majorly because the way she motivated her students to do something new, to apply, and how to apply those kind of application, how to apply science to different products. She's by the way an environmental microbiologist. Okay, so she's basically, her master's is in zoology, and her PhD is in microbiology, environmental microbiology. So how to use microbes for different purposes, and how microbes have those enzymes, is all coming from her. You see, that's the guru shiksha that I've received from her, and nothing better than trusting somebody who is your teacher. I think your teachers are the first people whom you can trust, and teachers will not harm you. I believe that teachers are not there to harm. They're there to protect you. They're like a matrix around you, and they are there to unconditionally guide you without any kind of direct benefits. Of course, tuition fees and all, कोई अगर बोलेगा कि वो benefit है तो वो benefit नहीं है, वो necessity है. But to really guide you through is something that needs to be is there. So teamwork. And then if you look at management, then Professor Joydeep Biswas, he happens to be the HOD from our management school. So he does sales and branding. He was part of Nokia, and he was the one who launched Bingo into the market. So again, expertise into different. So he's moved from commercial to academic, but ज्ञान तो ज्ञान होता है, उनसे ज्ञान मिलना, उसको implement करना is not something which is very difficult. So I think knowledge is everywhere. You just need to see, get hold of it, and give due respect to it. Don't use it. Don't abuse it. People who are using you, people who are helping you, always be grateful. Don't burn your ladder. I think that's very important.
Thank you, Rahul. We have another question from Mr. Sandeep. He's asking, can an idea be converted into a startup? If so, how far the fund providing agencies are helpful in realizing the idea?
Okay, so you see, if you were, it's very, very general question, but I'll tell you, if an idea can always be taken from a research innovation. Like I tell you, I'm a BIG grantee. So it happened parallelly. A BIG grant is given to a person who is an innovator per se. It can be anybody. Can be somebody who's doing BSc, can be somebody who's doing MSc, can be somebody who's doing PhD. Anybody can get a BIG grant, and that fund, it's a huge fund. That fund is giving you money to actually go and do something that you can hypothesize. So every research has a hypothesis. So if you think that something is of importance and your problem statement is there, agar lagta hai ki problem statement nahi dhoond pa rahe ho, then look around you. There's thousands and thousands of problem statements, and whenever you see a problem statement, write it down. So that problem statement can then be worked on, and then the funding agencies, like DBT, DST for electronics, and I think DEITY is there. The DST, of course, funds the electronics based, your engineering based innovations. Talk to incubators. I think you can also talk to. I think Dr. Mrityunjay has taken a session. I'm sure he has given you much knowledge than what I can give you. But I think talk to incubators. There are incubators all across the country. They're helpful people, and sitting at in your region, you can really develop. Funds की कोई कमी नहीं है. So there's no problem with funds. Don't worry about funds. Funds are there. You just have to have the right idea. You have to have the right person, and do it with somebody who wants nothing from you. वो सबसे important है. Unconditional help मिलना बहुत मुश्किल है. I think again going back, teachers, आपके teachers ही आपके unconditional help देने के लिए आपको always तैयार होंगे.
Thank you, Rahul, for this detailed answer. Do we have more questions from participants?
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I am just 29, so I'm not in my 40s or 45s. So my journey started when I was 25. So many people ask that, okay, when should you start? Is it too late? And there's all of these questions on Quora coming. When do you want to become IAS officer? What is the right age to become an IAS officer? What is the right age to do entrepreneurship? It doesn't matter. It's just the right time. And if you I think I'm young enough. I'm not old enough, so I think there's a long way ahead, and it's a lot of big journey. I think 20 years later, if this session happens, I'll be able to tell you much more stories.
I think we have learned that there is no starting or ending age. The founder of KFC started it after retirement, and people start at the age of 20 as well. So
yes. Absolutely.
I think we had one more question. I think I missed it, but I didn't understand what the participant actually want to ask. So the question was, as the startup needs to be educated, does a startup need to be educated? Asking this.
Okay. I think by a startup, you mean that a person, any individual or your team. I think a team needs to be multidisciplinary. So it needs to be for today. I think let's take a brief example. You see, today, if I want to make food, I need to have prior knowledge in how I make it first. If I want to sell a product, I need to have somebody who can sell that product and who has the idea to how to sell that product. If I want to do R&D, I need to have somebody who understands R&D. If I need to have an IT person who will be able to do third party or maybe do e-commerce sales, then we need to have an IT person. So a team is actually made by what you want to do. And it is not necessary to always have those people on board who might not be helpful. And you should just choose what your company needs, what your vision is, what your thought process is. And I think thought process is very important. सिर्फ टीम से काम नहीं चलता है. I think vision भी match करना जरूरी है. I have faced, I think everything is not rosy, but I faced people who've been part of teams, and then vision doesn't match, and vision then somebody wants to do something else, you should not have any vendetta or any kind of grievance against that person or any kind of body also in any organization, because you see, you brew energy. खाना खाते हो तो एनर्जी बनता है, वो एनर्जी दिमाग में गलत चीजों के लिए इस्तेमाल करोगे तो वो एनर्जी गलत जगह जाएगा. So use it for the right thing. Anyways, we are excreting every day, so half energy is gone there. So so you need to know where to channelize your energies to. I think that's very important. And I think team सबसे important चीज है, and building a team is most important for funding agencies also. And they look at your team very, very closely, and they gauge whether you will be able to take that to the next level or not.
Thank you. We have
So there's one query from my side as well.
Oh yes, please.
So regarding this BIRAC grants, big grant scheme, so can you just tell us what are the steps, or what was your experience, and how did you manage those things?
Okay, so see, the BIRAC grant basically has 2 grants in a year. One starts I think early year, I think around February, March. The other starts I think by the later half of the year, which is right now. I think one grant has opened right now. So what happens is you need to have some preliminary data. Okay, so we just can't come up, of course this is true, we just can't come up with an idea suddenly and say, this is going to work, and that's going to give you a smaller grant, but that's not going to convince a funding agency to give you a higher fund. You need to do some kind of preliminary data which is required for any kind of research. I need to either make a small prototype, or I need to either build some kind of a model, even if back it up with proof that this is there and this can happen, and this has not been there in prior art. By prior art I mean that anything which is there in background literature. So I think we have to develop a small preliminary data with that, then write the proposal for a BIRAC grant. I think also most important is we need to also understand whether there's a market for it. There are a lot of innovations which might be very good innovations, but it's so high tech that there's no commercial feasibility. It might be very good in an application, but उसको बनाने के लिए इतना खर्चा है, या फिर उसको implement करने के लिए the costs are so high that it's really it's not a techno-economically feasible project. So gauging the techno-economic feasibility is very important, and that's where BIRAC grant again comes in. They have this orientation also. The incubators have orientation, so you can talk to them. They orient you with it, and there are 2 rounds. I think most probably one is a regional round, and then the second is a national round. So the regional round is a preliminary review where your idea is blinded and given to different kinds of people and reviewers who review your comments and all that. And once that is over, then you're shortlisted and you go to the next level where you meet the big people. And you present to them all the Padma Shris and the people who are going to judge you very, very bad. If you have a bad idea, they're going to just throw you off. So, but of course, if you have a bad idea, if you have a okay idea, they're going to groom you. And if you might fail once. I've seen people failing once or twice or thrice, but they're getting it at the end of the day, generating more data. It needs convincing. And even the panel, at the end of the day, your panel comes, "Arey, tum wapis aa gaye." Okay, you're very dedicated, so it might just give you a chance. So that happens everywhere. And funding agencies, I think all of us are human beings after all. हमें समझना है कि everybody wants to develop something or the other. Some people look at personal agendas first and national agendas later, but I think we should not focus on that too much. We should focus that we have to get our job done and get our job done in the right way. So BIRAC grant, I think, has been an eye-opener for many researchers. And not only BIRAC, there are a lot of other grants also. Now there's a BRTC grant that's coming in for Northeast. Northeast is again home to lot of natural resources. Northeast is not tapped. So there people are coming out it's brilliant. I love it at the incubator. So it keeps you going. So I think students should also be part of incubators, and faculties, get together and build a team. Go to these competitions. I think DBT ABLE is also a very good competition. BEST. So this, of course, a biotechnology competition is there for an engineering version also. I don't know. I might try to find, and I might tell you, Dr. Kunal. I'll just try to find out and I'll tell you. I'm of course available. See, this is not, it's not just a 1 hour, 15 minutes of discussion with you or with your people who are there. I am available always. And I think you can always come back to me for anything else, for any questions or for any ideas. If you want to work together, I'm also available. If you want to really do something, I'm there to always help you. I don't need anything. If you're motivated yourself, I'm there. I'll help you out.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul.
Kunal, do you have another question?
No, I'm done.
Rahul, if it's okay with you, can you provide your
Okay, I'll provide my email ID, and should I type it down? My email ID
Yes.
and my contact details. Okay, I'll just type it down. This is my personal email, so you can, of course, write it down to me.
So the participants can reach Rahul if they have any question or anything more to discuss.
Yeah. So I'll just show you the photographs, and I've given my phone number also, and as well as my LinkedIn contact right there. Okay. So I'll just quickly show you a few photographs now that you've seen everything. Just smaller version. I'll just open it first. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I think, so these are the people whom I have been talking about for such a long time. This is Dr. Vishaka right in the middle. She's, I think, really good if you can have some interaction with her. I think it's brilliant. You'll get a lot of insights. That's Professor Joydeep. He's our person from the marketing side, and then of course the entire team is there, and that's me. I think this is a younger version. I think 1 year older version of me. So right now, don't judge me by my beard, because I think I'm avoiding going to salons because I don't know what's going on. So that's a younger version of me, and I think 1 year old. So this is the factory. You see, we've tried to put together machines which are also compliant in regards to environmental regulations, because carbon footprints and all are very important to be taken care of, and our machines have to be giving the right productivity. So it's also important when we choose those machines. It's very important to do that. You see, these are few products. I think it's been quite some time from lunch, and you might have been hungry, but visually, I'm sorry I can't serve you anything now, but if I come to Jaipur sometime, I'll definitely bring something for you guys. So these are of course the portfolio of products that we are making. You see, if you have breads and different, even those savories that we normally make, cakes, even confectionery products from different millet based, different polyflour based, and they don't have any kind of additives and synthesizers in it. So it's it's all natural. It's very safe to consume. Of course, we're partners with KISS, the world's largest tribal residential institution, KIIT, TBI, BIRAC. Currently, the project that I was talking about in terms of the enzyme, we are funded by Indian Oil. So Indian Oil is funded. We've received around 1.5 crores from Indian Oil to do that project, and we are doing that. I'm on my way to do that, and once that project is complete, then you'll see the products in the market. So DBT, NABARD, Startup Odisha, DST, KS, MSME, we're all thankful to all of these people. And yeah, I think we believe in food sustainability and healthy aging. Like I always have been iterating from the last 1 hour, and I think that's the focus of the company. So I think with that I'll just stop sharing. So yeah.
Thank you, Rahul, for this very informative and interesting talk. I hope our participants will reach to you as in future if they have further questions or they have anything further to discuss.
Sure, absolutely. I'm available, and I think Dr. Kunal, we can, of course, you can connect me to anybody who would like to, and I'm there. I'm available for anything you want me to.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. To you, Abhishek.
Okay, Dr. Kunal, so I'll hand over to you to conduct the feedback session and the vote of thanks.
Yeah. So thank you, Rahul. So for being here and taking time for such a nice, informative, and wonderful session and sharing your journey with all of us. We will definitely take many things, many positive things from the session, and we'll definitely implement it as well, including me. So with this, I close our last session of online short-term training program on innovation and incubation of startups, paving the way for Atmanirbhar Bharat. I have given the link for attendance. Yeah, Rahul. So if you want to do something else, then
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, and look forward to see you again. Maybe.
Definitely.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a nice day. So with this, now we will start our feedback session. I'll be sharing all the contact details of all the speakers that we had till now to all of you on WhatsApp group. That is first thing. Another thing regarding your certificates of participation and completion of successful completion of this program. So those will be mailed to you on your mail ID that you have provided till Monday afternoon. Okay, so if this instruction is clear, also the feedback form, the link will be shared with you on the WhatsApp group once this session is over, once the feedback session is over. And then you will have time till tonight, 12 AM, we can say. So you will have that 7 to 8 hours time to fill that form, so that even if you have any network issue, then you can accommodate that. So now we will start with our feedback session. So please write in the comment those who want to express themselves and have a feedback. So Hindi will be fine and English will also be fine. So if you are comfortable with Hindi, then that will also be fine. Please let me know who is interested in sharing their thoughts about the program, about the sessions that they have attended. So those who want to express themselves about the program till now, those who want to give feedback to all of us here on this platform, then please mention your name in the chat box so that I'll unmute that participant.
Now I think
please,
his hands.
Oh, can you please unmute them? I'm not able to see somehow.
So yeah, Vaibhav, you can speak. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir. So,
Yeah.
Yes, so
am I
please
audible?
introduce yourself first and then start.
Yeah, actually, I am Vaibhav Kumar Arya. Right now, I am a postgraduate student from IIT Kharagpur, and I have been graduated from MNIT Jaipur in 2016 in mechanical engineering, and right now I am a project trainee at CEAT Tires, R&D unit of CEAT Tire. And thank you so much, Dr. Kunal and his team, for this online short-term training program on innovation and incubation of a startup. It was good to witness different startups from varieties of the different sectors, whether it was automobile, pharmaceutical, food chain. It was so nice to hear their side of a story, history of their failure as well as success, understand their thought process, how they brainstorm into different idea, how they form their team, how they help themselves with their investment and their future target and goal. I believe it will help us to inculcate innovative mindset and growth mindset, which in turn will help us to make us independent, or rather say Atmanirbhar. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaibhav. So there is a saying that nobody posts their failure on social media. So it is always good to learn from mistakes of other or failure stories of others. So I'll move to next participant, Sampada ma'am. I'll just unmute you.
I'm Sampada Thigare from Khusro Wadia Institute of Technology, Pune. Actually, my heartfelt thank you and congratulations to Dr. Kunal and Dr. Abhishek for arranging this wonderful session. Actually, when I started this particular session, I was really very much excited because as I'm already in the service and I'm dealing with the students, and I always talk about the startups in the class. And your program, your course gave me the full insight in this particular startup. Actually, the first, there are some positive points which I would like to mention. There is, there were 2 sessions you arranged. There was not like बहुत भीड़ नहीं की आपने. One session at a time. Like one session, first session was of the incubation centers, I mean the authorities from incubation centers, and second one is from the startup. Yeah. So and there was quite a big time span in between. 12:30 से 3 बजे तक बहुत अच्छा time span मिला, so that we could digest the things, we could think over it. Otherwise, what happens? One session is over and second session starts. So whatever we learn, we never repeat those things or think over that those things. But this session, I mean this time table, I just like the most. Second one is you covered technical, service, social, health, environmental related startups. But unfortunately, there was not a single education related startup. As we are from education field, so I was looking for that particular thing. Of course, now you have given the insight. So naturally, yeah, we can think over it also by ourselves. And one thing I must mention is that all were young entrepreneurs. So, and the questions were from the participants, mostly who are already in the service and they wanted to do something, like they want to do something naturally, maybe because they are the only breadwinners or some other reasons they are not able to do it. And such kind of entrepreneurs were not there, but hope so among us may come in your next session. So and there are many more takeaways for me. First thing is that never shy away from expressing your ideas, even though your ideas are small or in very raw state. Then also you can go ahead and you can express those ideas. Never mind. That is, I think, Pratik Deshmukh rightly mentioned that that when he, I mean, the group of friends to the professor, and they expressed their idea to him, and he got the this thing. I mean, the start. I mean, he could open the startup. So that is the main thing. Second one is you always dream big. That is the main thing. Dream big. It is. I mean, one of the speaker told like never think about the smaller this thing startups. You should think or you should imagine yourself as the billionaire, and it touched me to the extreme. Also, the pinpoint what I observed, that is the usual approach to the incubation center. I mean, it is the must thing in the process, so that whether that particular idea can be fulfilled or it will grow, I mean, everything will be clear. And another thing is that nothing can be done alone. There should always be participation of the like-minded people. There should always be collaboration. That is very, very important. And in the last startup session, Mr. Rahul highlighted the need of higher education also. That also I like the most, because ever since we are just hearing the stories of Bill Gates, Einstein's, how they failed, then also they could succeed in their life. So it is the like mindset somehow. I mean, whatever I observe in the students, that is, students used to say, "Kya karna hai pad ke?" But yes, Mr. Rahul has pinpointed the need of, or the effect of being higher educated person. And in short, it was very, very nice session. I'm personally very happy, and wish you all the best for the next endeavor. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. The next participant is Mr. Swapnil Devkar. Yeah. So, yeah, Mr. Swapnil, you may please go ahead. I guess there is a little issue with your connection.
Five minutes until the
Yeah, so till the time we have someone else who can who want to speak and who want to express or who want to give feedback. So language should not be a problem. Yeah. So you can express yourself in Hindi also, so that we all will also understand, and English will also be fine. So please don't hesitate. Yeah, so I guess
Swapnil is still there.
Hello?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Am I audible to you? Yes. Sir, this STTP on innovations and incubations for startup and paving way for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay, it's really helpful. It changed our view to see towards the entrepreneur. It is the most informative sessions I have ever attended. Even many entrepreneurs share their experience regarding early stage struggle and their present day situations. Okay. And I would like to thank you, MNIT Jaipur, for an organizing committee for organizing STTP on innovations and incubation startup, paving the way for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay? And it gives us opportunity to attain it. Okay, and my special thanks to all the entrepreneurs for sharing their views regarding their entrepreneurship. Okay, and thank you once again all the speakers are really very nice, and really they have done too much struggle in their life by leaving their easy path, which is a job, naturally. Yeah. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, Swapnil. So with this, I conclude this session. The final part of our program is obviously giving vote of thanks. Unfortunately, our conveners, Professor R.K. Goyal and Professor Mathur, they are a little bit busy with some administrative work. So on their behalf, of MNIT Jaipur and the whole organizing committee, I take this opportunity to thank all the eminent speakers and entrepreneurs. I'm just mentioning their names. Dr. Monika Sharma, Associate Professor, Coordinator and Treasurer of MNIT Innovation and Incubation Center. Then Mr. Girish Devgaonkar, Senior Manager, Bhau Institute of Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Leadership, College of Engineering, Pune. Mr. Professor Mrityunjay, CEO, KIIT's Technology Business Incubator. Then Dr. Santosh Gharpure sir, Professor in charge, Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, that is SINE, IIT Bombay. Then Mr. Angaraj Swami, founder of EcoRap. Mr. Pratik Deshmukh, co-founder and director of Robolab Technologies. Mr. Azam Sheikh, CEO and co-founder of Tide the Nut Private Limited. Mr. Parth Pratim Das Mahapatra, founder and CEO of EasyRx Health Tech. Mr. Rahul Chatterjee, co-founder and director of Kriya Foods and Beverages. And Ms. Ketki Borkar, Chief Coordinator of Kasturba Solar Khadi Mahila Samiti. I thank them all for taking out time and guiding all of us, including the whole organizing committee, because this was a whole new experience to organize, obviously, this event and to hear all the speakers as well. We have also taken many good points, positive points, we can say, that obviously we will also think of implementing, and we will make sure that those will be inculcated in our students as well. So with this, I thank all of you as well for bearing with us, for helping us to coordinate the sessions well. Regarding the feedback form, so its link will be shared on the WhatsApp group, so that every one of you, including those who don't have a proper connection right now, so they will be able to fill it. Please fill the feedback form, what we can say, the positively and sincerely, because that will surely help us to do modifications and to apply maybe your suggestions in the next short-term courses that we will organize. With this, I again thank all. I thank all the speakers. I thank our director sir and MNIT Jaipur for giving us this opportunity to organize such a wonderful and informative workshop training program. With this, I ask for your permission to close this session. If you have any doubt, then you may please share it on WhatsApp group. Thank you all. Thank you.